Alright, we have our third set here in day 2 of the Clash of the Houses with the IM house. Junwi versus Seed, Zerg versus Protoss once again on Icy Cup Test Bug.
Alright, so Icy Cup Test Bug, we'll talk more about it later, but here we go, the game has commenced. Here's I'm Seed getting basically crushed by Horror the last series, 2-0. Can he do better against Junwi? We will find out. Where's Junwi? There he is. He's down at the 7 o'clock position on Test Bug, spawning as our blue Zerg player. And Junwi basically crushing Younghua as well. So Zerg's really winning a lot of decisive victories today in this Clash of Houses. But things may change. I feel like Seed didn't quite show us his potential in that last series. So I'm really curious to see if he can kind of pick it up a little bit and maybe even win a game. We'll find out.
I'm sure he will. He is quite a good player.
Yeah, you don't get to be on Incredible Miracle by being bad at StarCraft 2, I think. So that'll be just fine. The Overlord floating across there. Pylon in a normal position as far as I can see, although I'm not terribly familiar with this map. You have to play some games on this map sometime.
Yeah, it is quite interesting. It does have some really nice visual effects going on. For anyone that's just tuning in, there's also these gold expansions where there's rocks blocking the mining of the gold, but you can actually drop the expansion before you destroy the rocks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a little bit interesting.
Huh.
And as a Terran player, you can still mine from the side 2 gold patches even before destroying the rocks. So you can drop a fast expansion and then still get some mules on here.
Yeah, that would provide a good amount of income while your Marines or whatever you have come in and take out the rocks as well. So of course, Terran always has the advantage. Those humans. Oh well, Probe going across the map, he's going to find his opponent right away. And I'm curious, yes, there is the hatch. Oh, is that a hatch first from Junwi?
It is. Hatch on 15, I believe. So
that's a little bit risky.
Standard timing for a fast expansion. But I don't know if he expects C to do some sort of delayed push or if he's going for the risk here.
I don't know. You don't see a whole lot of Zergs going hatch first against Protoss just because of the risk of being cannon rushed, basically. One thing you can do is, instead of going Cyber Core right after Gateway, you can just put down a Forge, block off their ramp with 3 pylons, and then put down a cannon or 2 at their hatchery, and basically you just hold them to one base for quite a while. It's very, very annoying to play against as a Zerg player, but it's very fun to do as a Protoss player. I can tell you from both sides. And, yeah, but it doesn't look like Seed is going to do anything of the sort. He's going to allow it to happen and kind of try to get up an expansion himself probably as soon as possible. Although, when he sees that, he may just decide to forgate. That's not a bad response to seeing a hatch first either.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to drop down anything too serious yet, since Junwi does have a drone sitting in his base. So if you can scout the forgate that it's coming, then it is relatively easy to defend, at least at the pro level. It is something that you need to get off as a surprise, which is why, like last game, we saw the expansion get started, let it get scouted, and then you cancel it as soon as the scout goes away. It gives you that little bit of element of surprise that can give you the advantage.
Yeah, it also gives you that little income boost, too, to be able to produce a few more units if you do decide to go for that forgate. Looks like the Stalker will be doing some scouting for Seed right now, passing under the interstate sign there. I assume that's kind of telling you how to get directions to the Protoss base. And what's he going to scout? We're going to find out. Oh no, just putting on some pressure with the Zealot, and there's not a lot of Zerglings out. This could actually do a little bit of damage, but he's going to need to be very, very careful. He does not want to lose those early units. Oh, and it is going to be a forgate from Seed, so I'm starting to get the impression, Torch, that Seed is a very all-in-y kind of player.
Yeah, and it could be that he's playing on a map that he's never played before, so he doesn't want to sort of gamble on the fact that it's going to be a long game. Maybe the map might not be in his favor. So he's going for this very aggressive rush. Unfortunately, it did not work for him last game, and it did get scouted this game. So I don't know if it's going to be the best situation for him right now.
Did it? Oh yeah, the forward pylon did get found. That Zealot getting surrounded as well, but not before more units warp in. Those Zerglings are going to need to fall back, although those Zealots are very, very helpful. Spinecrawler is not going to be finished in time. I don't know, we'll have to see if Seed can do enough damage with this.
Yeah, Spinecrawler does get cancelled. He is also supply blocked at the same time. So we have a lot of Zerglings coming out, but that is absolutely it. And it is very difficult to defend against the forgate with only Zerglings.
He could really use a sentry or 2 right now, though. Oh, bypassing the hatchery, deciding to go after the main instead. No sentries, though. to block off the ramp, he may decide to just block the ramp with those Stalkers, warping in some Zealots instead of Sentries as well. This is a 1-gas 4-gate, so you really don't have the gas for Sentries. It's just not something you see quite as often against Zerg. A lot of DPS, but at the same time you do need to worry about being surrounded. As you can see, kind of trying to position those Zealots so that if the Zerglings do come, he's able to get those out there just in time. Oh, pulling the Zealots back now. He doesn't want to take any damage from the Broodlings. One Zealot getting a little bit overeager, but who can blame him? He's called a Zealot for a reason.
Yeah, and he does actually drop down 2 pylons here. What this allows you to do is make sure that you will always have the warping capabilities. If you only have 1 pylon, it is possible to take it out before the units actually finish warping in, preventing your reinforcements. Yeah. So once you take out the second hatch, you can actually back off because you do have an advantage. But he also has a very big force here, and he knows he's only playing against Zerglings, so might as well just go in.
The Stalker's a little bit out of position, though. The Zealots aren't going to be able to participate in the fight like they really should be. Stalker's actually in the front. That's the worst position. Those Zealots not able to hit anything at all unless they kind of reach under the Stalker's leg. But that's not going to work. Zealots trying to block the ramp right now, and these Zealots could hold for a little bit. But I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good about Junwi right now. Although more Zealots coming in. Never mind. Now I'm not feeling so good about Junwi. Now I'm not feeling good. Nope.
Yep, and Junwi doing the WJ.
WJ.
So he started typing in Korean and then switched over to...
Which will assume means some form of GG. Who knows? The W, of course, is that key that we see the Korean symbol for on the keyboard as well, so... Yep.
And I wish I had the Korean language pack. I could show off some of my newfound Korean.
Oh, you don't have that on the computer?
No, I only have the English on this computer.
Ah, I see.
Or English typing, excuse me. Obviously, you're seeing the Korean client.
Yep, that's right. But that's okay.
So once again, we are getting this next replay queued up. It does take a little while. And for anyone looking for other StarCraft things to do today, since StarCraft is awesome and you can never get enough, there is actually being a Clash, or after the Clash amateur tournament being run by CSN. And while I say amateur, it does have some of the top names in North American StarCraft right now. I believe that has started already, but it's just in the beginning matches. I'm not sure if they're doing any coverage quite yet. But later in the day, it will be cast on glhf.tv by the Gun Run. So you can see some more awesome games going on there from the North American server.
Yeah, very, very cool. The North American server actually does have a lot of good players, so definitely don't miss that after you finish watching this, of course. Or maybe if you have 2 monitors, just open up the stream in both windows and then choose whose voice you like hearing the best. But don't tell us who you choose. We'd rather not know, probably. But anyway, yeah, I mean, when I was back home in the United States, I would always have multiple streams open on my monitors. I think that's the only way to really truly enjoy StarCraft 2, is trying to keep track of multiple games at once. But we are going to move on to our next game, speaking of multiple games, right after this. Or right now.
Alright, so we have Junwi versus Seed here on Metalopolis. This is game 2 of set 3, and here is the game.
Alright, so we've got Junwi spawning as our red Zerg player down at the 6 o'clock position on Metalopolis, and his opponent is going to be, of course, I'm Seed, spawning as our blue Protoss player over at the 3 o'clock position. And so close ground positions, what sort of craziness is this?
This is something that has been removed from a lot of the newer versions of Metalopolis that's starting to get put into tournament play. In general, this does not favor the Zerg player. You can do some sort of really aggressive push. However, if the Protoss is to do some sort of forged fast expansion, it wouldn't favor that as well. So interesting to see it removed from a lot of different games, or a lot of different tournaments, but in this particular tournament, it is still there. And in the Blizzard ladder map, it is also still there.
Yeah, unfortunately. But oh well, what can you do? I think Seed's going to be happy with this, though, like you said. He's been trying to just one base all in every Zerg he's come across today, and it hasn't worked. But maybe in close positions he can get that win. He can get that victory point, or whatever you want to call it. But so far, not too much. Although I'm curious to see how he is going to respond to this, because this is kind of what he's been waiting for. So is he going to capitalize on it, or maybe not? We're going to find out.
Yeah, and he's about to find out what the situation is in just a moment here. He does see the Overlord.
And that is not an extra
there's the
fast
creep.
Overlord. Yep. There's the base. So Seed possibly planting a seed in his mind for some sort of one base all-in.
A little bit of inception going on there. So
That's
we
right.
did actually see the spawning pool and the extractor go down at the exact same time on 16 supply. Not sure if that signifies any sort of specific rush from the Zerg.
You know, Inception would be pretty dangerous in StarCraft 2 if you could, like, try to go and convince your opponent. If you could incept them to go hatch first against you in close positions every game, that'd be pretty powerful. Looks like no hatch first, though, for Junwi. He's going to, of course, get the gas in the pool going before the hatchery. That probe not going to be able to really take that down anytime soon, so might as well go back to scouting. Now, at the base of our Protoss player, as the spawning pool does pop, it looks like nothing out of the ordinary going on. There are 2 gases going for Seed, though, so it looks like he will be going... actually, this looks like kind of an expand opening, but with Seed, I'm kind of expecting it to turn into something that doesn't involve expanding. Not that I'm being critical, but history has shown that he probably won't expand. In fact, is that a tight wall up? I think it might be.
No, he does have that
not.
one little
Okay.
space there that he can plug up with Zealot or use sentries behind, just force field around if he needs to.
Yeah.
It's relatively versatile. You can get your army out still, which is kind of necessary moving to the mid-game. Otherwise, you have to destroy your own buildings, and that's never good.
Right, I don't like destroying my own buildings, unless they're bunkers, because then I can get all the money back.
Yeah, and that's something that a lot of the Koreans are actually complaining about lately, is that
Really?
salvage is 100%. I would tend to agree with them, but I'm a Terran player, so I do also like all my money.
Well, I've started to play only Zerg, so maybe I should start complaining about that as well. We'll see if these Zergs can get into the base to see anything to complain about. No, they're not even really going to poke up the ramp all the way. So, yeah, Junwi really not seeing anything at all with that. Certainly not that second gateway, and I'm curious to see if we're going to see a third. There it is, so 3 gateways out right now. It looks like it will probably be an expand from Seed, so, oh, never mind, that's a 4th gateway, so it will be 4 gates again from Seed. He's going to try it again with proper force field control. He'll probably be okay. I like that he's got it spread out. He's really kind of making Junwi think expand, but I think Junwi may know a little bit better. In this case, I think Seed is kind of playing probably like he does in practice.
Yeah, and this is a very versatile build that you can do a lot in a lot of different matchups. So if he's just trying to get practice, it's not the worst idea. However, it's something that probably won't be around in the game for terribly long.
Yeah, we'll find out. I don't know. I mean, the 4-gate is really, really powerful. You can always just make 4 gates and then only use 3 of them and then continue to expand as well. So, you know, I have seen Protoss players do it just to be really safe, but Seed has kind of shown that he wants to really kind of go for the kill early in the game, so I think that's probably what we're going to see. He's got a couple sentries out right now, but if he moves out, there's enough Zerglings that he may lose 1 or 2, so he's probably going to need to wait for at least another round of Warpins, I'd say.
Yeah, that's very true, and we do see a lot of roaches coming out here. Most likely these are just going to be to pressure the front, force Seed to stay on one base.
Yeah, it's going to work too. I think that's a lot of roaches coming. Now, Junwi actually not producing any drones right now. He may decide to just go all in off this. If he truly thinks it is 3 gates, this would be enough to stop it. With it being 4 gates, I don't know if it is though, so we'll have to see if it works.
Yeah, but he also does have 18 Zerglings queued up here. He doesn't know exactly what the tech is from the Protoss player, so he does need that layer in case they're...
Oh, the Zealots pulling back. You've got to be kidding me. Oh, because there's a huge army hidden in the base that I didn't even see. Those units going to be cleaned up very, very quickly. The probes not even really needing to be pulled. Really, really nice fake by Seed right there, letting those units in just so that he could trap them. Beautiful play by Seed. And now that Junwi has lost a lot of his army, Seed's going to be able to roll in for a huge counterattack. I am really worried for Junwi right now, although it looks like he may counterattack with Zerglings. No, deciding instead to try to defend, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. It's going to be not, I don't know. The proper force field is not going to be a very close fight.
Yeah, this 4-gate coming in here is quite a large army from Seed. However, these 2 spine crawlers are going to be able to almost get up, but they do need to get canceled. There's a lot of roaches here, a lot of lings, and a few drones brought in the fight just to help it out. There's no more energy from the sentry, so there can't be any more force fields, and these lings are going to be able to surround and kill all the stalkers from C.
Where did these units come from? It's amazing.
I don't know, except he did cut a lot of drones, so the economy is even again. However, he does realize that he did just win that fight. He is going to be safe for a little while, and he builds 9 drones to be able to counteract anything that he did lose there.
Now, a lot of zealots being spawned by Seed. That's going to prevent Junwi from getting in his base, which is good. I love that all these incredible miracle Zergs just seem to have such amazing macro. That's the same thing you see with Luceria, is he's just able to seem to have more units than you really should at each part of the game. And I'm kind of seeing that from Junwi a little bit at this time, too. I mean, he did cut drones, like you said, but at the same time, that was a big army to produce at this point in the game.
Yeah, and anything that you do see out of Luceria is actually coming from the teaching of Junwi. Junwi is the mentor of Luceria, and it is interesting to see that he does play a lot like him.
Yeah, their styles are very similar now that I'm kind of seeing this game, really. I've seen Junwi play in the past, but I'm noticing it's like the Emperor and Vader. Or maybe like Luke and Obi-Wan. I think they're too nice to be on the dark side.
I don't know, they do play Zerg.
Well, yeah.
But we do see a lot of fighting units coming up here. Junwi did drone up hard as soon as that fight was over, but now is switching over to build a very, very large army. He does know the expansion is going down, so he's thinking, alright, well, let me get up a few more waves of Zerglings and Roaches and then push in and hopefully win. The Forge is just going up now, so there's no... oh, and the army is going to actually get surrounded here. Those force fields are going to be a double-edged sword, preventing some Zerglings from coming in, but also preventing the escape route for these Protoss units. They are going to be surrounded by Zerglings and Roaches and taken out relatively easily. Once that is down, there is almost no force to defend this expansion. Seed actually canceled the Forge because he knew he could not get cannons up quickly enough to be able to defend. He needed all those resources to be able to put into units to be able to try to defend against this crazy, crazy Roach numbers here. But it is not enough, and he is forced to GG.
Wow, again, a Zerg player holding off a pretty good push, and then coming back and just crushing the Protoss. Wow, a Zerg winning in close positions on Metalopolis against Protoss. When's the last time you saw that happen?
Yeah, a somewhat fast expanding Zerg against a 4-gating Protoss on close expansion.
That's amazing. The Incredible Miracle Zerg players are easily some of the best in Korea. If not the world. If not the universe.
Probably are.
Yeah.
Unless there are some actual Zergs floating around up there.
Hopefully that actually won't happen. Or if they are, maybe they'll be friendly Zergs. I don't know.
So you guys know the drill. We're just queuing up the next replay.
Yep, that's right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Again, I'm Doa. This is Torch casting with me. Of course, we're casting for CyberSportsNetwork. This is a Clash of Houses. Kind of a series of in-house tournaments and events from Seoul, Korea. Of course, right now we are watching the in-house tournament with Team Incredible Miracle, one of the most dominant teams in SC2 right now here in Korea and, you know, really the world. I'm sure if they traveled to other places, they'd be pretty tough to beat pretty much anywhere. And, yeah, of course, don't forget about After the Clash coming up after this Clash, or actually I think starting fairly soon, around 8 o'clock. In Eastern Standard Time, which I believe is in about 15 minutes, unless it was 45 minutes ago.
Nope, it's 15 minutes from now.
In 15 minutes, okay, so open up another browser window, maybe watch that. If you're playing in it, of course, turn off that stream. Don't open up that one because that is cheating, but you can watch ours at the same time, so you can compete and watch our stream. I encourage that, although I can't guarantee you'll actually be able to win while doing it, but, you know. Alright, so we're going to see Seed versus Junwi. It's going to be Game 2 again. This time, it's going to be, Game 3, going to, what, Game 3? Oh, it is Game 3. It's going to be Xel'Naga Caverns. What a great map that is. Let's get the game going. It's going to be Junwi Prime spawning, or I'm Junwi Prime spawning as our red Zerg player up at the top of Xel'Naga Caverns.
You're not Junwi Prime.
No, it's going to be, I forget. It's so early in the morning. I'm so tired. I got to get some sleep before GSL.
That's going to be super exciting tonight. We actually have MMA.
Yeah, Slayer's MMA.
And my favorite player Startail Bomber.
Startail Bomber, of course, the supposed best player on Startail still?
He's the best player in the world. He's just he's my Clyde, I guess I should say.
Ah, I see. The Clyde of Startail is Startail Bomber.
Very, very good player, but not yet getting the full spotlight that he really should. He's fallen short the past 2 GSLs. Hopefully he can really take it up this season.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how all these MVP players are going to do. I mean, MVP is kind of a new clan, but they've got, 5 or 6 people in Code A this season?
Yeah, they had a very good showing in the Code A qualifiers.
No kidding, yeah. I mean, there's, and one of those players, of course, is Violet, who's a former Warcraft 3 player, and also plays Zerg, and actually took out Moonglade in the first round of the Code A qualifiers. So already proving to be a pretty good ZVZ player, because Moonglade, in my experience, kind of watching him, is one of the best I've seen.
Yeah, Moonglade is a very good foreigner. He hasn't had the best results here in Korea, but he's learned quite a bit and is able to dominate pretty much anyone outside of Korea. He took 4th place at IM.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, 3rd or 4th. Fourth place, yeah, at IEM. That's right. Looks like Gas Pool going up for Junwi right now. Normal opening as well for Seed, getting that Gateway is going to be getting a Cybernetics core, I would assume, of course, as well. But, yeah, definitely, if you're a pro player, and you're listening to this, you want to get better, come to Korea. I mean, just find a way to get out here, because, man, I can speak from experience when I say that practicing out here makes you so much better. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and GumTV recognizes that it is very difficult for foreigners to get to Korea, so they are trying to do everything in their power to make that happen. If you are a competitive level player that is very motivated in becoming one of the best in the world, GumTV actually does have a guest house set up that it is possible to get into. Just send an email to myself or John Park, which is JUNKKA@graytech.com, if you think you are capable of doing something like that.
Oh, the pylon gets down. Wow. I thought that the hatchery was going to make it, but no, the probe sneaking in there. Just the right time to put down that pylon. He will need to cancel it very, very quickly, though, just because there are 3 Zerglings. There's a cancel, and the hatchery delayed a little bit, but not that much.
Yeah, but every little bit counts, because if you delay this hatchery, you're essentially delaying 6 to 8 drones from mining, in addition to the production time. So at the cost of 25 minerals for a canceled pylon, it's definitely worth it to delay it any few seconds that you can.
Yeah, you are costing them much more than 25 minerals by delaying that. That does make sense, because what is it, 5 seconds turnaround for a gather to get minerals and come back? I think it's 5 seconds.
It's about that, yeah. But
so if you multiply that by the number of drones that would be there, that's a lot of minerals.
That is, and StarCraft's a game of trying to get very slight advantages. These pros are always trained to cut off every little corner they possibly can, get any sort of advantage, and be able to do a lot of different things. So scouting, timings, they're all very, very particular. But we do see another 4-gate here. It is a 2-gas 4-gate, so we are going to see a lot of sentries and stalkers come into it.
Wow, I'm actually starting to get a little bit disappointed, I hate to say, in Seed for constantly doing the 4-gate. I mean, come on. I mean, I'd like to see at least one different build. It's a little bit sad, but he must have confidence in it. Zelnaga Caverns is a good map for it. We already do see a Roach Warrant coming up right now for Junwi, though, so he's going to be pretty well prepared. I would say he might decide to throw down a Spine Crawler or two, but he has to be expecting a 4-gate this time. Yeah, he's just kind of watching for the expansion. It's not really coming. Usually the expansion for Protoss in a normal 3-gate gets down at around 34 food, and we're just past that right now, so if Junwi is familiar with his Protoss timings, he'll know that there's probably not going to be an expansion. Although it looks like, yeah, Seed's going to throw one down there just to kind of fake him out a little bit, but I'm sure that's going to be canceled later.
Yeah, throwing this pylon here is showing the Zerg that you are posturing to take an expansion like this. So the Zerg is like, alright, well, I'm going to drone up a bit more. That does get you an extra wave or two of an advantage over your opponent. However, Junwi thinking, hey, maybe I can actually just push and kill him right here if he's actually expanding. So he does queue up 7 roaches, and is actually going to be able to defend quite nicely.
Oh, there's the cancel. I'm shocked.
Yeah, he did this in an earlier game today.
Yes, so here's the thing, is that Junwi might be able to engage him on kind of open ground, and that would nullify a lot of the effectiveness of the sentries and the force fields and things like that. That Overlord dying, though, that's not good. More roaches and Zerglings on the way, though. And Junwi just deciding to stay in his base, so a little bit riskier, although he does have a lot of room to maneuver. He does need to worry about his ramp being blocked, though we'll have to see how this goes.
And the pylon here is able to warp in units to reinforce the main army, or if you can get vision to the high ground, you can warp directly into the main base of the Zerg player. He does cut off all those roaches, which is beautiful, but he is going to be surrounded a bit by these Zerglings. However, they don't do a whole lot of damage. One sentry almost going down, but nothing serious. 20 more Zerglings on the way. Still a lot of roaches here. If he can keep them in one ball, not getting cut off by force fields, then he should be okay. However, we do have a lot of energy here for these sentries. Moving in a bit, not the best force fields. They are going to slow down the Zerg army, but they don't cut any of it off, which is what you really need to do, because an entire Zerg army this early in the game is really potent.
And no more force fields for Seed right now, and the force fields that he kind of misplaced are what's going to cost him this push. I don't know if he can quite push in there, although now that Junwi did need to run away and lose some of those roaches, that's good for him, but with another round of Speedlings, he's going to be able to pressure again. There's more Stalkers being warped in right now, and I don't know, it's just so close. That Spine Crawler actually did finish. I didn't think it would have time. Probably going to see another sentry or two. Oh, actually trying to sneak right up into the main. I don't know if that's the best decision, although he will be able to warp up on the high ground right now. Roaches firing from the low ground. A great force field preventing those roaches from getting up there. And now Junwi is in some trouble, although once that force field energy does run out, he will be able to go in and ideally clean this up. The pylon will get taken out, but not before a lot of drones might die as well. Spine Crawler moving out of position, and as long as these drones live and these units are cleaned up, I think Junwi is going to be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, but these units here are going to be able to do quite a bit of damage. He doesn't have any more energy for force fields, so the roaches are going to be able to come back up at the key time to be able to keep most of these drones alive.
Great surround with the drones on the Zealots and the sentries. He's going to lose a lot of drones, but at the same time, if he can hold this off again, he will be a little bit ahead at least of his opponent.
Yeah, so he is down slightly in drones, but because he was able to defend this effectively, and all the forward pylons are removed, he is going to be able to produce a number of drones and counteract that sort of imbalance there. He's also going to be able to tech up to a layer to be able to get any sort of counters for the tech units that the Protoss could be producing, which we see might be happening with the Twilight Council.
Now, one thing to do as a Zerg player, if you hold off an attack like that, is to immediately run all your Speedlings down to their base, because sometimes you can get lucky and they don't have that Zealot in position. Of course, Seed, much too good of a player to be caught like that, but, you know, for those of us who are still laddering and aren't at that pro level, of course, that's always something you want to do just in case you can get in there, because that's huge.
Yeah, and if you defend it safely, you always want to try to put pressure on your opponent. Any sort of little bit that you can do to throw them off their mind game, the better. They're in the mentality usually of push, try to win. Oh, I didn't win. All right, now what should I do? And that moment of weakness where they're like, all right, what do I do? That's when you need to just keep them running, essentially. You want them to be in that flight mentality. You don't want them to be quite in fight at that particular time.
Now, Blink coming out for Seed, that's going to be very helpful in keeping those Stalkers alive, of course, but still on one base, though, so, you know, he's going to have a lot of Stalkers, but the Stalkers are going to be very limited. At some point, all those resources are going to run out, and if Junwi keeps expanding, he'll just have a much bigger economy and be able to kind of roll in and kill him eventually.
Yeah, that's very true, and we do have a lot of tech coming up here. We have Burrow and I don't even know what that is, actually.
That would be the Roach speed upgrade.
Oh, it's going to be dangerous.
It's going to be good for Zerg if you can get it up, although this is a pretty scary push. Blink has finished, I believe, for those Stalkers, so they might be able to do a little bit of damage. Another forward pylon going down right now for Seed, but here come the Stalkers. There's a good amount of Roaches, some Speedlings, and a couple Spine Crawlers there as well. And again, that first Spine Crawler dying. And wow, the Stalkers swinging around to the backside, trying to get a good view. That was a bit of an overreach by the Protoss player, I believe. Nice concave, nice blink micro, but all those Stalkers getting really weakened up. And a great burrow from the Zerg player. Wow, I was thrown off there for a second. I wasn't expecting the GG right then, but it makes sense. GG, and Junwi takes the series 2-1 against I'm Seed.
Yep, so that is going to put Junwi at first in the group right now at 2-0. It is a full round robin for 4 players, so he's going to need to play one more. However, before we move into that, we do have a little interview with Seed that we're going to be playing here in just a moment. Gotta find it.
I'm here with IMC. Do you want to tell us who you played your last game against and how it went?
네, 방금 전 게임은 졌는데요. 방금 전 게임은 졌는데 저니 프라임, IM 저니 프라임 선수랑 이렇게 게임을 했거든요. 금속도시에서 게임을 했는데 제가 심리전을 걸어가지고 이렇게 본진에서 이렇게 공허를 준비한 척하면서 사실은 4차관을 갔는데 이게 딱 잘 막혀가지고 네, 그래가지고 패배했습니다, 제가.